Welcome to The Soul Truth with Pauline Montemayor, the podcast where we dive deep into the worlds of healing and the truths about spirituality, mental health, and the soul. This podcast is for the real ones, the ones who have the courage to dig deep, the ones who are longing to heal and willing to do the work, and the ones who are ready to embrace and fully stand in their own truth and get to know who they truly are deep within the soul. I'm your host, Pauline, here to guide you towards your own soul truth and cultivating a life of authenticity and alignment. So let's get into it. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to The Soul Truth. A lot of us were raised to believe that playing it safe, staying small, and staying quiet were the safe way to live and be. However, I am realizing more and more that living in your soul truth is actually going to require you to live in the complete opposite way. To live in your soul truth means that you have to live out loud. You got to live in big and abundant ways because your soul truth, it's going to call you and challenge you to step up to yourself and to say yes to everything it is that you want and desire to have in this life. Your soul truth is not going to make you play small. It's not going to silence you. It's not going to minimize you. And it's not going to let you settle for less than what you deserve. Because living in your soul truth means that you are living in your God-given life purpose and that you are open to receiving everything that is meant for you. I've talked a lot in this first season about everything that I've had to overcome to get to this place in my life. And that included my own fear, grief, opposition, judgment, hardship, etc. But sometimes the biggest thing that we have to overcome is ourselves. It's our mind, it's our past, and it's our patterns. If you remember back to my very first episode, I talked about how it basically took me 20 years to get to this point of making this podcast and making my longtime dream a reality. That's about half my life, okay? Making this podcast was a risk because I knew that I would be putting myself out here. I would be sharing so much more about me, my life, my story for everyone to hear, including my therapy clients who typically don't know that much about me. And now they be knowing a whole lot about me. But regardless of that, I knew that it was a risk that was worth taking. And sure enough, as I wrap up this season, it has proved to be just that. You know, thankfully, I've received such positive, loving feedback from people. I know that the podcast has helped people. And it's also liberated me and given me the courage to continue to want and to do more. Let me just tell y'all that I am not stopping here. All right, this podcast, this was pit stop number 1. Okay, I want more. I am going after more because I know that I am being called to do more. I know now that I am capable of doing more. And I also know that I am deserving and ready to receive more into my life. You know, I know a lot of people perceive me as a very chill, easy, laid back person, and I very much am that. But anyone who knows me really well knows that I am such a creature of habits, like even to the point that I can be very rigid about certain things sometimes. And the reason why many of us live this way is because we are afraid of change. It's one thing to be disciplined, but it's another thing to stay in the loop of something, all because it's all you've ever known or all that you believe you can have. So I'm about to move in a few weeks to a new apartment that I never thought that I could have or afford before. And for years, I told myself that I could not leave my current apartment. I told myself that I couldn't have a place like that one day and that I would have to continue to stay in this apartment that I'm in, even though I've outgrown it years ago and I'm no longer even comfortable living here. But this move is symbolic, right? Because What I just said just shows you the power of our mind. And it shows you how much you can limit yourself by what you say to yourself and what you think and believe. So you already know that I'm a spiritual girly and everything in my life is spiritual, including this move. So this is a crazy story because back in the late fall, randomly one day while I was at work, I heard Spirit say to me out of nowhere, start looking for somewhere else to live. And I was like, what? What do you mean? I have no intentions of moving right now. I don't even know if I can afford to move right now. And I heard Spirit say to me again and nudge me in the gut and say, start looking for somewhere else to live. So I casually started browsing and I was like, okay, maybe I could do this. These places look nice. Cool. About a month later, all these things started going wrong in my building. Like clear cut signs, Pauline, you got to get out of here. Like you got to go. So as you can see, Spirit was already preparing me. And that was just an affirmation that listening to my intuition had led me in the right direction. So now I had no choice but to buckle down and really start looking at places. And what I realized is that I could make this move happen. And what I also realized is that not only did I have the money for it, I had more than enough to make this move possible and to afford myself a much nicer and bigger place to live. When I came to this realization, everything shifted. It was just that actual switch in my mindset from me saying, I can't do this to I can do this, that changed the game. My whole mindset, my whole outlook changed about this move. And now I'm literally about to move into a whole new reality. Now, I'm not gonna lie, during this process, I had my moments of doubt. And my best friend had to call me out on my scarcity mindset. And she literally said to me, girl, abundance is your birthright, and God is not on a budget. I needed that reality check to realize how I was living in small and fearful ways, literally and figuratively. So after I had this conversation with my best friend, I started to really challenge myself to start thinking and dreaming even bigger. And I kept reminding myself every day that God and the universe are not on a budget and they're going to be able to fund everything it is that I dream of. And my best friend also reminded me that money is just another form of currency. And at the end of the day, it's just another form of energy. So with that, I've also made a point to be very intentional about what type of energy am I putting on money. And ever since I made this shift in my mindset, all these opportunities, experiences, and even people, some of them even randomly, have just been popping up into my life and proving to me that what I want not only exists, but that it is possible. This was such a crucial and empowering lesson for me because being the daughter of immigrants, everything that I've seen my entire life from my parents and what I've been taught is that you have to sacrifice to get what you want. I see my parents make huge sacrifices for me to have the things that I have in my life. And I also adopted that mentality and that way of operating into my own life, where I have continually sacrificed a lot of things to get what I want or to hopefully get what I want one day. And don't get me wrong, we do need to sacrifice at times. We do have to be willing to give up and compromise certain things for the long run. What I'm realizing now, and this is the important part, is that you don't have to sacrifice and compromise yourself in detrimental ways in order to get what you want. Because for a lot of us, that's what we saw our parents do, our elders do, and even what some of us have done or are doing in our own life. What I am realizing and literally living out now is that I can have all these things by being the empowered, authentic Pauline. Not the Pauline who plays it small, who plays it safe, and who stays and has overstayed in what is comfortable and familiar. When I think about my past experiences and some of the things that I have continually done, or the things that I overstayed in because they were comfortable and familiar to me, I realized that a lot of that was me creating my own suffering. That was me settling. That was me missing out on better opportunities. And I don't like to live a life of regret. That's not the way I like to move out here. But I think that having these moments of self reflection and introspection are really important, because sometimes we do need to call ourselves out. And we do need to realize where we are creating our own mess and where and how we are keeping ourselves small. In my personal life and also in my work as a psychotherapist and as a psychic medium, I have seen so many people live in this way of playing it small, playing it safe, and suffer. I have literally watched people's happiness dwindle. I have watched the life and the energy of people be completely sucked out of them and drained, all because they continue to stay in things that keep them small. And this includes their relationships, their marriages, their jobs, their homes, even some of their communities. And it's hard for me to watch, right? Especially for the people that I love and care about, because I know that their life could be so much better and so different if they just made a different choice and if they just believed that they could have more if they chose someone else or something else. And I know that there is so much more opportunity and abundance for them on the other side of that fear. So, as I mentioned, I used to be one of these people. In fact, I'm still healing from all this and I'm working through it in real time. But I refuse to be that person anymore. So, from now on, and I encourage all of you to do this too, I am only saying yes to what aligns with my soul. I'm only saying yes to what will give me a bigger and more abundant life. And I'm only saying yes to what empowers me and to what raises my energy and my vibration to a higher frequency. Because if it is draining you, it is not for you, period. So don't be afraid to let go of all the people, places, and things that limit you. In order for you to live out your soul truth, okay, your life's purpose, you have to be willing to step into everything that aligns with you and away from everything that does not. So, as I've mentioned time and time again throughout this podcast, your soul truth is going to challenge you because it has to. That is the only way that it's going to help you to level up, to be everything that you were made and created to be, and to have everything that you deserve to have in this life. So if you are wondering if you are fully living in your soul truth, this is what you need to do. I'm going to need you to take a second to look at all the parts of your life. Pay attention to all the people and things that are around you and ask yourself, how do these things or these people make me feel? Do they make you feel drained, stuck, small, or limited? Or do they make you feel alive, empowered, and liberated? Are they adding to your life or are they taking away from it? So your answer to those questions is not only going to tell you if you're fully living out your soul truth, but it's also going to tell you what you need to keep and what you need to let go of in your life. Many of us were raised with that mentality of scarcity and sacrifice, but I want you to hear me loud and clear right now. You are allowed to dream big. You are allowed to want to have it all, and you can have it all. And your soul truth is going to push you and challenge you to remind you of that every single time. I want to remind you that your soul is the biggest part of you. It is as big as the universe. It is as vast as the cosmos. It is the God and the life force in you. It is not meant to be contained in small and limiting ways. It is not meant to settle. It is meant to expand, thrive, and flourish. So be mindful of the spaces that you are in, because your soul truth cannot be fully lived out where it is compromised. It will only expand where it is in full and total alignment, and that is where your abundance will be. So before I wrap up this episode, really quick, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that has supported me on this first season of the podcast. I appreciate every single one of you that has tuned in. And I will be taking a short break before the next season as I get ready to move and transition into this new, abundant, dope chapter of my life. Because yes, y'all, I am already claiming it. But I will absolutely be back soon with so much more gems of knowledge and some dope wisdom to share. But in the meantime, keep living out your soul truth. Dream big, aim high, take the risk. You will never lose when you bet on yourself. Just know that everything you want is out there for you. It already exists. You just have to be willing to meet it there. Thank you for listening to The Soul Truth with Pauline Montemayor. I hope this sacred wisdom will continue to guide you along your path. We would love to hear from our listeners, so please show some love by leaving a review and a rating. Stay real, stay you, and stay blessed.